I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
We're not sorry. Ubisoft issues a BS apology to Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadow is a disaster.
Well, we're talking about Ubisoft again because they're having a bad week. I did a video talking about
They're
them
having
yesterday.
a very bad
talked
week.
about Star Wars out because they released a 10-minute or so gameplay preview, which didn't impress anybody. It looks like a half-baked game, as people in the comments were pointing out. Timestamps to some things people thought were funny. There was some really bad frame rate drops in the trailer and some things.
Really?
In the trailer? Make a post to tell people to put
I did not even.
the video
Oh
on high
my
resolution.
god!
It is pretty funny to watch. That game's gonna be interesting when it comes out. I bet you it's gonna be a buggy mess. Maybe it won't be.
It'll be downgraded for sure.
It really does.
Well, and regardless, even with all of this, there's still such hardcore Star Wars fans that they'll still buy the game. Same with Assassin's Creed. There are people, they don't check Twitter, they don't check YouTube, they live in their own bubble, they'll still buy Assassin's Creed.
Feel like when you buy a game on release date anymore, especially if it's a big AAA game, doesn't it feel like we're kind of beta testers now?
It does feel like that.
Pay 60,
It definitely
70
does
bucks
feel that
to
way.
be
I was a beta tester for Elder Scrolls Online. That was smooth.
a beta tester. None of these games come out very well polished. Like, they're not very polished when they come out. I mean, can't you pay people to do this so that we don't have to pay for it? It's just like they don't care. It comes off as disrespectful to the customer to me.
Yeah.
But as you can see, their stocks are also not doing very well. 12% drop. John Trent article here, very well done. He has a picture
yeah, we
here
looked at this
showing
yesterday.
a nice little drop.
Just bad.
You can see it right there, but that's going back 5 days. He has 5 years in here. I think that's a typo. If you go back 5 days, as you can see right here, it goes down 42%. Oh, I see what he's saying. If you change it to 5 years, it's a 74% drop.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of these companies aren't doing very well. So, what are some reasons for this? Well, Star Wars and, of course, Assassin's Creed Shadows has got a lot of scrutiny right now. They are no longer ignoring the Japanese backlash, which there is a lot of.
Yeah.
Japanese
finally,
people are pissed. I saw a video.
let's see what finally happens. Yesterday, we already watched where the CEO of Ubisoft was just full of delusion with what he was telling investors.
It was in a store. I don't know what kind of store it was, but obviously it was a store that carries video games. Maybe it was a video game focused store. I'm not sure. But while I'm talking about it, and what made it funny is basically there was a kiosk, a video game kiosk, and they had a TV basically just playing this Yasuke diss track over and over again on repeat. There's like a viral song making fun of him, and I guess it's quite the hit over there. But Japanese players are pissed. I've talked about this quite a bit. They're not happy about the game. They're not happy about the way their history is being treated. They're not happy about the errors in the game.
And again, YouTubers like Yellow Flash, they at least are compiling all this information on time and documenting the whole road of basically the disaster show for us to be able to be informed.
They've been busted using Mandarin. Some of the buildings have Chinese-styled architecture in them. It's obvious that they didn't do a very good job of making sure that this game was authentic to just history in general. And they're apologizing for that. So, kind of. It doesn't really come off as a genuine apology to me. But really, how I feel about it doesn't matter. It's how the Japanese people feel about it. How do they feel? And it'll be
they were not
interesting.
happy,
I don't
obviously.
think it's going to work
They were not happy.
Here's the apology right here. So it first popped up
Ubisoft
on
Japan. Okay.
Ubisoft Japan.
Of course.
They reposted this one. This is from the regular Assassin's Creed account. The Assassin's Creed Shadows team has a message for our Japanese players. And I'm not going to read through all this. I'm just going to go through it so you can see. But basically, they're like, Assassin's Creed has never been fully 100% accurate in its history and stuff.
No.
And they apologize for messing up some of the setting.
Based in
And
Osaka,
here's
by the
third
way.
Part. And
Yeah.
here is the
The
next part.
central cultural hub of
And
Japan
that's their apology.
back in the day.
Okay, let me just quickly see. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadow development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Over this time, we have explored various settings, time periods, and characters from Assassin during the Third Crusade to Viking in the 9th century England, and countless more. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long, cherished dream. Bullshit.
Yeah, that's some cap. That's the heaviest cap they can fucking say.
Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions, but also some criticism.
It's not some, bro. It's the whole
I'm
government
sorry.
coming after your ass.
You say many positive reactions, but also some criticism. That's just delusion. That's just put up like delusion happening here. Including from you, our Japanese players. Okay, you know what? Off Ubisoft. Like, this whole sentence just. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. Okay, so you, out of respect, you changed the Japanese architecture to Chinese architecture, and you've messed up the lettering from Japanese to Chinese. And then you also went and basically without rights took symbols from actual temples because you have such respect. Okay.
Jeez.
We would like to address a few points to clarify your intentions, our intentions, and creative decisions.
Accurate
Okay.
in its history and stuff.
Overall authenticity effort. We have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. The biggest of caps.
The biggest of all.
However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed game, including Assassin's Creed Shadow, as factual representation of history. Are you...
Whoa, hold up.
It's literally... sorry you felt bad. Like, bro, what?
What is this? What word diarrhea am I looking at? This doesn't make sense at all.
Like, own up to the mistake. That's it. If they would have owned up to this mistake, people wouldn't be in masses making a video about their apology. Whoever is handling their PR, they need to find a different job. As factual representation of history or historical characters. Okay, sure. Cap. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical setting we get inspired by. Brother, what? Assassin's Creed Shadow is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. We all know they're historians and how they changed Wikipedia, how they literally took one sentence out of some historical mention and just created a fanfic. We already know they're consultants and historians. Despite these sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional material have caused concern within the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. All game footage presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Just based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. We also want to clarify that while we have been consulting with many people throughout the development process, they are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative teams in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. Consequently, we respectfully request that any criticism not to be directed at our collaborators, both internal and external. This is a cop-out page. Creative liberties and historical inspirations. Oh boy. Okay. While we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. From its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fancy elements to craft engaging and immersive experiences. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story, which the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. So, I'm sorry, you said you respect the Japanese culture and history. That's why you take this character, create a narrative in your mind to use Japan as a backdrop out of respect. Okay, cool guy.
No.
While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. We have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoe, who is equally important in the game, our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts. Respectfully. Okay, so they want to underline we have to share our opinions respectfully. Okay. Well, they disrespect a whole culture and history.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You can't do that. No, that's not gonna slide.
While we understand that meeting everyone's expectation is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into it. The fact that they literally underline that... Where is it? We sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication and effort.
And that's
Just
their apology.
absolutely disrespectful. This is not an apology.
How will that be received by Japanese people? That is the real question that I have. We can take a look at some of the comments on this post and see what they're saying. Thanks to your company, I was able to become aware of the historical changes made by the forces of globalization against Japan. Thank you very much. Here's another one. He seems to be apologizing, but he doesn't say anything. And this is true.
Yeah.
And that's why I said kind of an apology, because they really
it's just
don't
4
apologize.
pages of word diarrhea.
They apologize. Yeah. We're sorry for getting some things wrong. But it almost comes off as a non-apology, and now it seems like that's what they're saying here. Here's another comment.
It's literally, I'm sorry you feel hurt. We all know people who apologize that way.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Right here. I think the story about Yusuke should just be considered fiction based on Yusuke. The issue of historical retelling is no longer a UBI issue, but a Lockley issue. However, is no longer the problem. The plagiarism of materials from manga organizations and cultural heritage sites, the misinterpretation of Japanese history, and the misinterpretation of Japanese as Chinese, among other things, show disregard for Japan. The problem is these. And there's a bunch of stuff here. This one. So it's more trying to be faithful to the war aspect of Japan. At that period, death was a common thing, and decapitation was not a strange sight in Japan. That's true. From what I understand, they would just take your head all the time. Like, especially if you disrespected a samurai or something. I'm not sure, but head choppings weren't a rare thing back then. Strict set of rules. I'm sure some Japanese people will probably watch this video and comment. I will be very interested in hearing what they have to say. I'm not a Japanese historian. I know like surface level stuff that I think is cool. I would love to learn more someday when I have some time.
Yeah.
I would like to ask that the third image, an example of creative expression, be clearly written as an example of fiction. Japanese people are tolerant of fiction that deals with historical figures, but are intolerant of anything that is not described as fiction. Please do not underestimate the Japanese people. Let's check one more randomly.
Also, keep in mind, the wording of the stuff that he's reading might sound off because he is using a translator for this.
Yeah.
Here's one. What happened to the rifle squad flag? That's so sloppy. Yeah, they have stolen a lot of stuff. So, interesting. Here's another interesting thing. So, a lot of the outlets are quoting this dude who is apparently a Japanese historian. And
ridiculous.
He came out and said, there's no doubt in my mind that Yusuke was a samurai.
Lost his license right there.
Turns
with
out
that whole phrase.
He has ties to the Communist Party in Japan. I didn't even know there was a Communist Party in Japan, but there is one. And he's got ties to it. A communist endorsing fake bullshit. Where have I seen that before? So I thought this was kind of funny. Now, I want to point out he is a former member of the Japanese Communist Party, as quoted here from this Park Place article.
Okay.
But I'm sure he still has the ideals close to his heart. I thought this was really interesting.
This is just ridiculous.
There you go. Fun times in video games, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear.
Good video. But yeah, so this is where it stands. As you can all see, it's not over yet.